The Stoic Circle, who shapes your reality? Have you ever stopped to consider the profound influence of the people you surround yourself with? The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus, a man who understood the power of inner strength amidst external chaos, wisely stated that the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best you. This sentiment, echoing the modern adage that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, forms the cornerstone of our exploration today. But what happens when those closest to us, perhaps unintentionally, hinder our progress, particularly on the path of Stoicism, a philosophy designed to cultivate resilience, virtue, and inner peace? In this video, we will delve into 7 distinct types of individuals who can subtly or overtly derail your Stoic journey. We'll examine their characteristics, understand how their behaviors impact your well-being, and, most importantly, explore practical Stoic-inspired strategies to navigate these challenging relationships. Before we embark on this insightful exploration, if you find value in this exploration of Stoic philosophy, please show your support by liking this video. Your engagement helps us spread these timeless teachings to a wider audience. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future explorations of wisdom and personal growth. Let's begin. 1. The complainer, draining the reservoir of inner peace. We all know them. The perpetual cloud carriers, the ones who find a storm brewing in every teacup. The complainer, whether a friend, family member, or coworker, possesses an uncanny ability to unearth fault in virtually everything. The weather is always too hot or too cold, their job is eternally unsatisfying, and even the most critically acclaimed restaurant is riddled with culinary flaws. While it might seem tempting to simply tune them out, to dismiss their negativity as mere background noise, the insidious nature of constant complaining lies in its cumulative effect. It's akin to a slow, steady drip, a leaky faucet imperceptibly depleting your reservoir of emotional energy. Stoicism, at its heart, champions proactive solutions over passive lamentation. It urges us to focus on what we can control, to identify actionable steps rather than wallowing in the perceived injustices of the world. Consider a scenario: you're collaborating on a crucial project with a colleague whose default setting is complaint mode. Every meeting devolves into a litany of grievances, devoid of constructive dialogue. The impact is multifaceted. Team morale plummets, creativity stagnates, and the collective focus shifts from problem-solving to problem-dwelling. You, personally, might find yourself increasingly disillusioned, not only with the project but perhaps even with the broader landscape of your life. The constant exposure to negativity begins to erode your own optimism and drive. So, how does Stoicism equip us to effectively manage the presence of a chronic complainer? Several powerful strategies emerge from the Stoic toolkit. Limit exposure. This is often the most direct and effective approach. Whenever feasible, minimize your interactions with the individual. If their presence is unavoidable, perhaps due to familial or professional ties, then proceed to the next strategy. Mental distancing. During their inevitable diatribes, consciously create mental distance. Visualize their complaints as a passing storm, loud, unsettling, but ultimately temporary and powerless against the immovable mountain that is your own inner tranquility. Imagine yourself as a serene observer, watching the storm rage from a safe distance, unaffected by its fury. Steering the conversation, gently, yet firmly, redirect the conversation toward potential solutions or shift the focus entirely to a more constructive topic. Presenting the complainer with a challenge to come up with a positive action plan can often disrupt their negative thought pattern. As Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wisely proclaimed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This timeless Stoic wisdom underscores the importance of diligently guarding our mental peace. By proactively employing these strategies, we can ensure that the negativity emanating from chronic complainers does not divert us from our Stoic path of resilience, virtue, and unwavering inner strength. Don't let their discontent be contagious. 2. The drama magnet, navigating the whirlpool of chaos. Envision your life as a carefully navigated ship, sailing through calm, predictable waters. Now, imagine encountering a sudden, swirling whirlpool, an unpredictable force threatening to engulf your vessel. This is the drama magnet, an individual who seems perpetually entangled in an unending series of crises, conflicts, and controversies. And, much like a real whirlpool, they possess a disconcerting ability to draw you into their vortex of chaos. Initially, you might find yourself strangely attracted to the drama magnet's energy, mistaking it for passion, excitement, or even a vicarious thrill. However, the allure quickly fades as you realize that being within their sphere is akin to navigating a ship through a relentless storm, exhausting, draining, and potentially dangerous to your own well-being. The constant turbulence can leave you feeling emotionally battered and depleted. What makes dealing with drama magnets particularly challenging is the way their crises often feel like your own. Their chaos is, in a sense, infectious. You might find yourself embroiled in conflicts and entangled in situations that you had no initial involvement in, simply by virtue of your proximity to the drama. Let's illustrate this with a practical example. You have a friend who experiences frequent fallouts with other members of your social circle. One day, they're not speaking to Sarah, the next, it's Tom. Your friend consistently seeks your advice and emotional support, but you notice that this cycle never ends. And suddenly, you find yourself at odds with Sarah or Tom, simply because you attempted to mediate or offer a sympathetic ear. You've been unwittingly drawn into the drama. An animation illustrating the reflective listening technique. In such cases, a powerful strategy you can employ is called reflective listening. Rather than offering unsolicited advice or taking sides, simply mirror their words back to them, demonstrating that you understand their feelings without necessarily endorsing their perspective. For example, if they say, "I can't believe Sarah said that about me," you could respond with, "So, you're feeling betrayed by Sarah's words." This technique allows you to provide emotional support without becoming entangled in the drama itself. A visual highlighting the importance of setting boundaries and time management. Another approach, one that might initially seem counterintuitive, is to become selectively unavailable. Stoicism reminds us to value our time highly and to recognize that it is a finite and precious resource. Sometimes, that means being unavailable for other people's crises, particularly if they are recurring and seemingly without resolution. Turn off your phone during certain hours, create dedicated focus periods where you concentrate solely on your work or personal development, and make it known that during these times, you are not to be disturbed. To paraphrase Seneca, true happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future. This sentiment is particularly relevant when dealing with drama magnets. Instead of anxiously anticipating the next crisis, concentrate on the present moment, where you have agency and control. Savor the tranquility, enjoy the fruits of your labor, and refuse to allow your peace of mind to be disrupted by someone else's manufactured drama. Make it a point to navigate your ship calmly, skillfully steering clear of the whirlpools that threaten your voyage toward personal growth and tranquility. 3. The naysayer, protecting your vision from shades of doubt. Picture this: you are an artist, passionately painting on a vast canvas. Each brushstroke adds color, depth, and vibrant life to your unique vision. You're lost in the creative process, bringing your artistic dreams to life. Suddenly, the naysayer enters your studio. They glance at your work, and immediately begin to critique it, their words dripping with doubt and negativity. "Are you sure about that color? It doesn't look realistic. You know, most artists never make it." Their words, like unwelcome strokes of gray paint, begin to dull your vibrant canvas, dimming its brilliance and undermining your confidence. This isn't constructive criticism, which can be invaluable in the artistic process. Instead, it's a persistent aura of doubt and negativity, a constant undermining of your efforts and aspirations. The naysayer sees only limitations and obstacles, never possibilities or potential. For example, let's say you're excited about pursuing a new career path, a field that ignites your passion and aligns with your values. You've done your research, spoken to professionals in the industry, and perhaps even taken a few preliminary courses to hone your skills. When you enthusiastically share your plans with the naysayer, they quickly and readily list all the reasons why it won't work out. The market is too competitive, they declare. Do you even have the right skills? What if you fail miserably? Soon enough, their doubts begin to feel like your own, and the self-assured vision you once held starts to waver and crumble. A graphic illustrating the advice-seeking technique. How do you deal with the naysayer, especially when they are someone close to you, someone whose opinions you value? One unconventional yet effective method is to actively seek their advice rather than simply sharing your plans or aspirations. When people are placed in an advisory role, they are often less likely to directly attack your ideas and may offer more constructive feedback, feeling a sense of responsibility to provide helpful guidance. A graphic illustrating the concept of positive confrontation. Another method involves strategically flipping the script through a technique known as positive confrontation. Instead of passively absorbing their negativity, challenge them to think of solutions. If they declare, "You'll never be able to switch careers at this stage in your life," counter with, "That's an interesting perspective. How do you think someone could successfully make a career change, given the current market conditions?" This not only deflects the negativity but also encourages a more constructive and solution-oriented conversation. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Listening, however, doesn't mean blindly absorbing everyone's negativity. It means discerning valuable input from mere noise, sifting through the opinions of others to find the kernels of wisdom that can genuinely help you grow. When the naysayers begin to cloud your canvas with their shades of doubt, take a step back, listen attentively, reflect thoughtfully, and then continue painting your own life with the vibrant colors that speak to your soul. Don't allow anyone to transform your vibrant masterpiece into a dull, gray landscape devoid of joy and passion. 4. The victim, breaking free from the checkmate mentality. Imagine life as a complex and strategic game of chess. Each player begins with the same set of pieces and shares the same fundamental goal, to checkmate the opponent's king, ultimately achieving victory. You approach the game strategically, carefully planning your moves, making calculated sacrifices, and taking measured risks to gain an advantage. The victim, however, operates under a completely different set of assumptions. They consistently blame the board itself, the pieces at their disposal, or even their opponent for every poor move they make. In their eyes, they are perpetually in checkmate, not because of their own choices or actions, but because of some external force relentlessly working against them. Their narrative is a never-ending tale of woe, a constant stream of complaints and self-pity, with themselves cast as the helpless protagonist, forever at the mercy of fate. "I can't get ahead in my job because my boss dislikes me," they lament. Or, "I can't get fit because I have bad genetics." It's crucial to acknowledge that some people face genuine hardships and systemic issues, real and significant obstacles that impede their progress. However, the victim we're discussing here uses their perceived predicament as a permanent excuse, a justification for inaction, refusing to take any responsibility for their own choices or lack thereof. You might find yourself unwittingly entangled in their storyline, perhaps cast as the supporting character who constantly needs to rescue them from their self-inflicted crises. Let's say you've spent countless hours listening to a friend blame their endless string of failed relationships entirely on their ex-partners, never acknowledging their own role in the dynamic. Not only does this drain your time and emotional energy, but it can also subtly encourage you to adopt a similar victim mindset in your own life, leading you to externalize blame and avoid taking ownership of your own challenges. A graphic illustrating the concept of compassionate detachment. So, what's your move when dealing with a victim? It might be tempting to step into the role of savior, offering endless advice, providing constant emotional support, and attempting to fix their problems for them. However, the Stoics would caution against this, recognizing that it's ultimately enabling and detrimental to both parties. They would recommend drawing a firm boundary to protect your own mental state and emotional well-being. You could employ a technique known as compassionate detachment. Show genuine empathy and kindness, acknowledging their pain and offering a listening ear, but refrain from trying to rescue them from situations they ultimately need to navigate themselves. Offer support, but avoid becoming their perpetual problem solver. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." If you find yourself being drawn into the victim's narrative, resist the urge to become one yourself. Take control of your own game board, make your own moves, and remember that in the chess game of life, being perpetually in checkmate is often a choice, not a predetermined fate. Keep your pieces moving forward, make strategic sacrifices when necessary, and play not for revenge or pity, but for growth, wisdom, and the unwavering pursuit of your own potential. 5. The toxic positivist, cultivating a garden of authentic emotions. You know this person. They are the embodiment of unrelenting sunshine, rainbows, and an endless stream of emojis. They are the ones telling you to just be happy when you're going through a profoundly difficult period, dismissively waving away your legitimate feelings and complex experiences with a flip of the wrist and a sprinkle of glittery optimism. They are the masters of superficial positivity, often at the expense of genuine emotional connection. Imagine your life as a vibrant garden. There are beautiful, fragrant flowers, but there are also weeds, pests, and areas of barren soil. A toxic positivist, however, insists on ignoring anything that isn't a blooming rose. Got aphids on your leaves? Just focus on the flowers. Don't let negativity into your garden, they exclaim, their advice well-intentioned but ultimately misguided. While it might sound uplifting on the surface, their approach can leave you feeling invalidated, unheard, and disconnected from the realities of your own experience. Suppose you're going through a tough breakup. You're feeling sad, confused, and desperately seeking some emotional balance and understanding. The toxic positivist, in their attempt to cheer you up, offers the following advice: there are plenty of fish in the sea. Just smile, be happy, and move on. This sort of excessive positivity neglects the complexities of human emotion and the very real challenges of navigating life's inevitable hardships. It trivializes your pain and prevents you from processing your emotions in a healthy and constructive way. An image showing both light and shadow, representing the balance of emotions. How do you cultivate your garden without letting the toxic positivist trample it with their indiscriminate sprinkling of good vibes only? One effective strategy is to gently engage them in a discussion that embraces both light and shadow, acknowledging the full spectrum of human emotions. If they say, "Look on the bright side. At least you have your health," you could reply with, "Yes, I'm incredibly grateful for my health, but it's also okay for me to feel upset about this specific situation." Both feelings can coexist. A graphic illustrating emotional granularity. You can also employ what psychologists call emotional granularity, the ability to feel and differentiate between a wide range of emotions, both positive and negative. When the toxic positivist pushes you to just be happy, take a moment to mindfully acknowledge and label your nuanced feelings. "I'm feeling a bit melancholic today due to X, and that's okay," can be a liberating affirmation, allowing you to validate your own experience without succumbing to the pressure of forced positivity. To reference Stoic thought, Seneca once said, "True happiness is to understand our duties toward God and man, to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Notice the emphasis on balance, understanding duties, which aren't always pleasant or easy, and enjoying the present moment. A Stoic approach isn't about focusing solely on the positive or dwelling exclusively on the negative, it's about embracing life's inherent complexity with equanimity, accepting both joy and sorrow as integral parts of the human experience. So, the next time the toxic positivist sprinkles their confetti on your carefully tended garden, take a step back, remember that a healthy garden needs both sunshine and rain to flourish. Embrace your full emotional spectrum, and continue nurturing your garden with the richness and complexity it deserves, allowing yourself to feel and process the full range of human emotions. 6. The manipulator, reclaiming your script and defining your narrative. Picture your life as a meticulously crafted movie script. You are the main character, and you have a clear idea of how your story should unfold, where the dramatic twists are, who your trusted allies and wise mentors are, and what your triumphant final act looks like. You are the author of your own destiny, carefully shaping your narrative with intention and purpose. Suddenly, the manipulator enters the scene, the shadowy producer who subtly rewrites your script without you even realizing it, slowly and insidiously altering the course of your story. One day, you find that your storyline has veered drastically off course, leading you down a path that doesn't align with your values or aspirations. The manipulator is skilled in the art of emotional and psychological maneuvering. They might use flattery to inflate your ego and gain your trust, guilt trips to coerce you into compliance, or even outright deceit to steer you in a direction that benefits them, often at your expense. They are masters of emotional manipulation, expertly playing on your vulnerabilities and exploiting your desires. You might have a friend who always manages to subtly get you to pay for dinner by saying something like, "You know, I've been having a really rough month, and you're so successful, it wouldn't mean much to you, but it would make my day so much better." Over time, you find that your generosity has been systematically taken advantage of, but calling them out on it feels incredibly uncomfortable because they've framed it as a small favor to a friend in need. A graphic illustrating the fogging technique. Handling a manipulator can be a tricky and delicate business. One effective method to counteract their manipulative tactics is what some experts call fogging. This technique involves agreeing with any element of truth in the manipulator's statements, but firmly refusing to be moved by their emotional coercion. If they say, "You're so successful, you should definitely cover dinner," you could respond with, "You're right, I've been doing well lately, but let's split the bill as we usually do." You acknowledge their statement without succumbing to their manipulative pressure. A graphic emphasizing the importance of setting clear boundaries. Another crucial approach is to set clear and unwavering boundaries and consistently enforce them. If the manipulator wants you to lend them money, commit to tasks you're uncomfortable with, or otherwise overextend yourself, learn to say no assertively. Keep your tone calm and respectful, but your words clear and unambiguous. "I appreciate you asking, but I can't lend you money right now, but I'm here to offer emotional support if you need it," sets a boundary while maintaining the friendship. Drawing inspiration from Stoic thought, Epictetus wisely reminded us that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The manipulator thrives on your predictable reactions. They exploit your kindness, your guilt, or your desire for approval to achieve their goals. By consciously choosing to respond differently, by breaking free from their predictable patterns of manipulation, you are taking control of your script once again. So, if you find a manipulator lurking in your life, remember that you are the one holding the pen. Your storyline is yours to write, and while the cast may include a variety of characters, the protagonist's journey, your journey, should always be guided by your own values, your own decisions, and your own authentic desires. Reclaim your script, rewrite your narrative, and don't let anyone manipulate the course of your life. 7. The Time Vampire, protecting your symphony of purpose. Imagine your daily routine as a carefully crafted symphony. Each instrument represents a task, a commitment, a relationship, and when played together in harmony, they create a balanced and fulfilling composition. You've meticulously arranged each note, each measure, to create a beautiful and meaningful melody that reflects your values and aspirations. But then, the time vampire joins in, screeching off-key, drowning out your carefully orchestrated melody, and turning your beautiful composition into discordant noise. The time vampire is not necessarily malicious or ill-intentioned. In fact, they might seem quite benign on the surface. It could be a well-meaning colleague who constantly interrupts you with trivial questions, turning your productive workday into a series of fragmented moments, each interruption chipping away at your focus and momentum. Or, it could be a friend who invites you to countless social events that you're not genuinely interested in, making you feel obligated to attend and draining your precious time and energy. These seemingly insignificant interactions might appear inconsequential in the moment, but the cumulative effect can be profoundly disruptive, derailing your progress, undermining your goals, and leaving you feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. A graphic illustrating the Pomodoro technique. So, how do you protect your symphony from being ruined by a time vampire? One effective strategy is the Pomodoro technique, a time management method that involves breaking your work into focused intervals, traditionally 25 minutes in length, separated by short breaks. During these focused intervals, you make it clear that you are not to be disturbed, creating a protective bubble around your most productive time. This sets a clear boundary that protects your most valuable time from being nibbled away by unnecessary interruptions. A graphic emphasizing the importance of saying no. If you find yourself dealing with a social time vampire, remember that saying no is not just okay, it's essential for your well-being. Instead of offering elaborate excuses or feeling guilty about declining an invitation, a simple, "I appreciate the invite, but I can't make it," suffices. Declining an invitation is not a rejection of the person, it's an affirmation of your own needs, your own priorities, and your own right to protect your time. In the words of Seneca, life, if well lived, is long enough. Stoicism teaches us that time is one of our most precious resources, a finite and irreplaceable gift that should be allocated wisely and intentionally. It is the canvas upon which we paint the portrait of our lives, and we should be highly selective about who and what deserves a stroke of our brush. In the grand composition of your life, make sure that each note, each instrument, each melody aligns with your greater purpose. Don't let the cacophonous intrusion of a time vampire throw your symphony into disarray. Hold the baton firmly, conduct your life with purpose, and ensure that every moment is a note well played in your harmonious masterpiece. Conclusion, reflection and self-awareness. As we reach the finale of today's exploration into the types of individuals who can derail our path toward Stoic resilience and wisdom, let's not forget that self-awareness is key. It's relatively easy to recognize these types in others, to identify their flaws and criticize their behaviors. But the more challenging, and ultimately more enlightening, task is to look inward, to examine our own behaviors and motivations. Are you, perhaps unintentionally, playing one of these roles in someone else's life? Are you being a complainer, a drama magnet, a naysayer, a victim, a toxic positivist, a manipulator, or a time vampire? Remember, Stoicism isn't just about navigating the external world, it's also about understanding and improving ourselves, striving to become the best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. If today's discussion has sparked a realization, an epiphany, or even just a bit of introspection, I'd love to hear from you in the comments section below. Share your thoughts, recount your experiences, and let's engage in a dialogue that enriches us all, fostering a community of Stoic practitioners who are committed to personal growth and mutual support. So, until next time, may your choices align with your virtues, may your actions reflect your wisdom, and may your life be the masterpiece you're truly meant to create. Thank you for watching.